Okay, what's up guys? So it's been a while. I've been kind of slacking on the Turbo Tiburon content, and I've kind of been lazy along with the excuse of my phone being full so I can't record videos. But a lot has happened lately since I last recorded, and I kind of want to show you guys. It's kind of good and bad, but we'll get to it. So the car is down. Um, kind of hurt the motor back in November of last year, but that's not the official reason why it's down. So back in April, or let me get this straight. So over this time, I've been driving the car since the last video, enjoying it. Back in November, I kind of noticed that the motor developed some blow by, more than it had before, and then it turned out I ended up hurting a ringland on this. For the longest I kept telling myself, no way, there's no way I hurt a ring on it, it's only on 5 pounds. But I failed to realize how much air this turbo actually flows. Like, it, even on 5 pounds, it flows a decent amount, and the ignition timing curve has to be completely different from NA, which I didn't know. And I had too much timing down in peak torque, and it kind of detonated. And during a highway pull, the dipstick got pushed up, and ever since that, then the catch can has filled up. Every now and then will fill up, and I have to empty it, but the car still ran. Didn't really have a misfire at first at all, and it was still good. I pulled back the timing, kind of learned my lesson, enjoyed the car for a couple months like that on 5 pounds, and then once on 10 pounds because I had to fix the up pipe because the wastegate dump had hit against the subframe and then cracked and broke off. So I had to replace the location of the wastegate, which is now down here versus where it was down there. And I forgot to tighten the bolts for the gate, so it ended up over boosting, making 10 pounds. And even when it was hurt, it was making 9 to 10 pounds and it was ripping. So I fixed that, turned it back down, finalized the tune a little bit better, and then I added a manual boost controller, which is down there, and I took it down to the dyno. And this thing was on about 7 pounds. That's as much as the clutch would hold, because when it boost crept at one time up to 10 pounds, 9-10 pounds, it made the boost instantly. Around 3,000 RPM to 4 grand, it just made instant boost. And it kind of, the clutch was kind of old, so it ended up blowing through it anyway. It had 42,000 miles or so on it when that happened on the clutch. But I ended up putting a dyno, 7 pounds, and this thing still made 289 horsepower and 288 foot-pounds of torque on 7 pounds. Later found out that cylinder 4 has like 80 pounds cold. Cylinder 2 has 200. Cylinder 6 has 200, which is OEM spec, but 6 was kind of pumping weird when I cranked it over. Sounded like it wasn't hitting like it should, but it still made 200 pounds of pressure, which is good, but I'm pretty sure it still kind of hurt a little bit. But it was still pulling hard. Like, I was racing my buddy in his E46 M3 and my buddy's Subaru, and it was still like keep up and pull ahead a little bit, even while it was hurt. But the killer was that the throwout bearing ended up going out. It snapped from the pressure plate, and it kind of left me stranded. I had to limp it back down the street without a clutch and to work. It's been parked since, because I figured since the clutch throwout bearing went out, it's better to pull the motor and trans as one, replace the clutch, put a fresh motor in it. And now that I know a little bit about timing now, I talked to a few tuners, I made a new timing map. That's way more safer, a lot safer, and not as aggressive. So down low, there's about 9 to 10 degrees less degrees of timing versus before. Um, when it hit the dyno, there was less timing also, but around 4,000, it was still a little bit too much. It was making a lot of torque, so I pulled some out just to get it to stop making torque, because it was making basically the same horsepower as torque, and that's when it's hurt on 7 pounds. So like on 10 pounds, it was probably making 350 horsepower, 350 torque or more while it's hurt. I haven't done a compression test on the back cylinder, so I don't know how bad that is, but it doesn't really matter because I'm pulling it in anyway. I got fresh motor for it, not fresh, or used, 115,000 miles out of a Hyundai Sonata. I'll show a video of that. I'll also show like the dyno clips, because I've had all this video, I just haven't been posting like I should, and I'll start doing that more. And if you guys wonder why the plastics on there, I have to keep messing with it, is because the vented hood, just to stop the water from pooling up on the filter and on the valve cover, I plugged it. I had to take the front bumper off because when the throwout bearing broke, I stuck one of our shop cameras down in there to see what exactly broke. I wasn't sure at first, and I dropped the camera in there and I had to jack the front end up, and with the SCI front lip, which is kind of damaged, with that front lip, it's kind of too low, so you have to take the bumper off so you can be able to jack it up from the front. So it's been down for a little bit now, since April, longest it's been down, but it's coming together. It's getting a new ACT clutch with a FX Racing Extreme pressure plate. Should hold hopefully 380 foot-pounds of torque, and that's at the crank, but hopefully at least that at the crank or that at the wheel. If it can hold that, I'd be happy. The motor should make a lot more with a fresh motor, completely sealed up, no broken rings. On the same boost, I estimate it should make 330 to 350 ish. So we're about to get back at it. We're trying to get it ready for Gatlinburg, Tennessee. My buddy's turboing his E46, so we're trying to get that done soon. I'll try to get content of that too. I'll try to be more active, because it's kind of sad. I just let this thing sit and I'm not making any videos, but I've been busy. But we're gonna be back. This thing still looks really good even when sitting broken. I've been driving that thing so far. I also gotta get exhaust for this done once I get it back, but that's all once I get it back. I'm excited because I learned a few things, and this thing impressed me. Even when it was hurt, it was still pulling on cars on 7 pounds. So just imagine this thing with about 7 to 8 pounds, healthy motor, fresh clutch. It should be a jam, and that's just on 93. On E85, this thing's gonna make some jam. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a handful, because already with the 280, it was ripping. There's a few shorts, YouTube shorts I've been posting, but it doesn't usually post on my video timeline like a regular video like this would. So if you guys can go check that out, this is probably the end of this part. I'll probably include the motor part and the dyno videos after this. So see you guys in the next video. I'm really gonna try to keep you guys like posted on what I'm doing. So see you guys. We're gonna see in a little bit what this little 2.7 with a eBay turbo can make. one. So this is a new motor for the turbo Tiburon. Came out of a '04 Hyundai Sonata. It has 415,000 miles, and I'm starting to strip it down so far. Everything looks pretty good. Tiny bit of varnish on bank 2, but bank 1 is pretty clean. I'm pretty sure whoever had this before barely drove it because it's a '04 car with 115,000 miles. Still original timing belt, still original plugs. So the valve cover gasket, not valve cover gasket, valve covers are getting swapped from the motor that's currently in the car. Fuel rail, lower intake manifold, upper intake manifold. I have to swap the pan because the other pan on the car has a oil drain for the turbo, so I got to swap that pan on. And then the timing belt water pump, since those are all really low miles, only probably has 8,000 miles or so on that belt and water pump, so they're still good. No point in me buying a new timing belt or water pump kit to put on this. So I'll slowly start swapping all the parts over, and then this should last and make a lot more with the timing curve fix I did. So I'll take more video as I tear it down, or not really tear it down, just swap the parts. Still leaving this a stock long block. Goal of 330-ish on 333, 50-ish on 8 pounds, and then once we go on E, up the boost around 12 pounds on E85. Should be fun. This one's pretty good. The rear main seal's all dry, so I'm not replacing that either. It pulled one of the studs out for exhaust, but I'm gonna get a new one for that. But this is the motor that's going in, and it kind of looks dirty, but there's potential.